Everyone wants to have virtual assistants that help them manage their property, but a lot of people struggle with how do I find my first VA or virtual assistant? How do I train them? How do I trust myself to basically give them access to all of my personal details? What happens if they fall asleep? All of the stories, we're covering everything in this video today. Let's get started. Welcome to Chai and Cabins, where we talk all things entrepreneurship, short-term rentals, real estate, and business. My name is Rashmi, like don't rush me, and it's my pleasure to welcome you onto this podcast. So, my number one tip when you are hiring virtual assistants, guys, they are not robots. Okay, treat them like human. They will mess up. Work with them. In your first 3 months of having your very first virtual assistant, you will actually work double your usual amount. And a lot of people, including me, got told, hey, your life becomes so much easier when you have virtual assistants, you'll have all this time back. And it's true. It's true. That will 100% happen. But just know it doesn't happen right off the bat. So, step number one, when you're looking to hire a virtual assistant, decide on your budget. A lot of people get this wrong. You have got to train your mind to be okay hiring virtual assistants and what you're going to pay them. So in 2021, I decided to hire my first VA for my restaurant. And I decided to do this because all of these tech bros and all these online companies were like, these VAs are so great, they're changing my life. And I just wanted like a little part of that. So I decided that I went to onlinejobs.ph.com, and if anyone's interested, I do have a link below or in this video. I do get a little bit of kickback on it, but I use that site regardless, and I've used it hundreds of times before, so I do highly recommend the product. So I went to onlinejobs.ph and I put in there, I have $400. I have $100 a week, and I'm looking for a part-time person to help me do social media for my restaurant. I needed help like writing newsletters. Restaurants have a ton of graphic design that you need, like you need the menu redone, but maybe you need like a takeout menu that's smaller, and maybe you need like comments on like social media posts. We needed ideas. And then I was like, what else can you do? But these were like the general things I was looking for. I needed a couple of reels done. And I said, this is my budget. This is like all I can afford to pay. I can only do $100 a week, so $400 a month. Like, what can you do? So I literally like put that out in my job description. If you guys are interested in seeing my job description, drop me a comment below and I'll send it out to you guys if you're in my newsletter. I'm happy to do that. I just don't know if anyone's interested. But I had a very specific way I wrote the job description, which basically had things that somebody had to read the entire kind of email and had to give me like a keyword, and then I used that keyword to weed out, because once you like post on onlinejobs.ph, guys, you'll get flooded with like thousands of applications, and like it's hard to like make it through all of them, so you're gonna have to like filter them out just to begin with. So I interviewed a couple of people, and then I found my girl, and I was very honest with her, and I told her, hey, like, this is my first time doing this. Here's what I'm looking for. Some weeks, like, I may have work for you, some week not, but I'm going to try and average you out to about like 20 hours a week. Here's kind of what I'm looking for. And she said, cool. And we got to work. So step number 2 is our tech stack. So this is really crucial, especially if you're running a business which has people that work remotely. So our tech stack was pretty simple. It included using LastPass to get all of our passwords shared, so they can actually see the password but can still log into stuff. I ended up getting Canva on my account, and she was doing like all the graphic work on Canva. And what made it really easy is she could just send the PDF directly to the store and I could get it printed. So that was really fun, actually. And it still is. We still have the same girl. They will last with you for a really long time, which is why I love hiring virtual. Then we decided to get Hubstaff. So Hubstaff is another software which basically tracks their screen and takes screenshots. And honestly, I just use this for time tracking purposes. I did tell my virtual assistant she's welcome to work at any hours, day or night, whatever's comfortable for her, as long as project deadlines are met. This isn't somebody I needed to work, like, say, 9 to 5 US time. If that is important to you, make sure you actually have that on your first job description. So I got myself started on this VA route because I knew I needed a full team for real estate. But again, like, I was just never trained to have somebody that was virtual. So like my brain needed like time to process this. From there till now, her role has obviously grown with us. What we do has obviously grown along with that. Today, she runs all of my KPI reports. She does website design. She creates, I was like, all the menus, newsletters, social media, like all the little menial tasks that are time consuming. And I wouldn't really even call them menial, like they're important. But all of those tasks, she takes care of them and it takes it kind of off my plate. I just do the review. And payment, of course, is like the most important part of all of why we're doing this. I pay her via wise.com. It makes it really easy. It's set up on a recurring weekly payment. I like to do weekly payments for my restaurant and for my virtual assistants. It just makes it really easy on everybody. Everybody's happier when they get paid. If you guys have any other questions about how I hired my first girl, let me know. And I'll do another detailed video for it. All right, moving on. So after 2021, I spent about 2 years kind of figuring out what else do I need to. And by this time, I had a pretty decent real estate portfolio. So I knew I really needed to leverage my time and become better about how I'm managing it, because I want to take on new projects, but I was still handling a lot of stuff, a lot of day-to-day in my real estate business. So in 2023, I hired my sixth virtual assistant for my real estate business. I'm in short-term rentals. And what's funny is, and actually I had like other people before that just didn't work out. And I always thought like it was a them problem. Like they just don't know how to work. And my mentor actually found my mentor right at this time. And he said, Rashmi, the problem isn't them. The problem is you. And this was really hard for me to get through. And I go like, what am I doing wrong here? So, because I was doing really well with like my graphic designer in the restaurant, but coming over into more of a full-time role, somebody that's with me 5 days a week, somebody that's working like 40 hours and they're virtual, like that was kind of messing with how I was thinking about it. Because again, like I've never had a person like that on my team before. So here are a couple of the things I did to make it easier for me to transition. So the first thing I did is I created a WhatsApp group for us. I had 3 VAs at this time who were handling my entire real estate portfolio, from short-term rentals, hotels, whatever you want to call it. And in the group, what I told them, like the very first task I gave them once I got them onboarded, I got them logins, is I said, whatever a guest messages, I want you to take a screenshot of the message, put it in the chat, and I want you to type up your response for that. And if I give you a thumbs up, it means it's good. If I give you a thumbs down, it means we need to rephrase that. And we did that for a couple of days. And again, like it's double the work, because you're like, I could just go in and like just respond to all of this, right? Like it makes it so much easier. Again, it's all about training your mind. You will be the biggest problem in this hurdle. And people like don't believe me when I tell them this, which is crazy. But you will literally be the biggest hurdle, because your mind and my mind, like I just couldn't like conceptualize like what this would feel like, what this would look like. So anyways, end of my rambling. I decided this is how I'm going to do it. And when something happened, like I see like a guest needed like immediate assistance and like people weren't jumping on, I literally had to be like, wait, let them handle it. You do not need to jump in every 2 minutes to answer this. So that was really tough. Again, like it's a mental game, and my mentor was just like, pull back, just hold on for a minute, let them handle it, because you are showing them you trust them with your business and they will step up to the plate. And that's exactly what happened. So today I have over 10 virtual assistants. They run all of my real estate portfolio. They are around the clock. They have their own shifts and handle everything for us. They handle all of the guest comm across all guest platforms. Obviously I go in and review stuff, but they handle kind of what happens. We are really, really good, and this is what I specialize in, is operational efficiencies, which is how do I systemize my business? A lot of people are great at sales, like the top sales funnel, and they're like bringing all these people, they're bringing all this money, but like you've got to have systems and operations in place, which is what I'm really good at. So we have videos for everything that in our portfolio, right? So we have videos of all the house tours where like, here's where the water heater is, here's the label, here is how you solve if a guest asks for an early check-in. Here's a video showing, like you can just click on the link and be like, this is how you go set the door code. This is how you go review the camera. What happens if a guest says this? What happens if a guest says that? So everything is very systemized. So anyone can kind of literally jump in at any point and go, got it. So there's two ways this helps. This helps obviously the current team that we have, but say somebody on your team decides like, hey, this isn't for me, I'm gonna leave. You can bring in somebody else and all they have to know is where to find the information and they can help out a guest, right? Or they can even help me out. Like I don't remember everything about all of our properties, but because it's documented and it's logged, it's easy for me to go back through and go like, oh yeah, like I remember this. My team calls all of our vendors, they vet them. So if we're onboarding a new vendor, they will call all their referrals, they'll set up their payment systems, they'll get them door codes to enter the property. They handle all of that stuff. Again, guys, the one thing I see newbies make a mistake of is they think one VA will change everything instantly for them. And that is not the case. Like it took me a good year and a half to build out this team to be the way I liked it, to have it in a way that I handle the situation. Like this is like a replica of me and my thought process. And a lot of people aren't willing to put in the time, dedication, and they just get frustrated with the whole process. So there is no replacement for patience. That's like my number one tip. You've got to let hard work and time do its thing for this to work out. All right. The other thing some of my team members do is they check all of the cameras we have on properties. If owners need to block places, they're available kind of around the clock. So owners can text at like 2 a.m. and be like, hey, I need this property blocked for myself. Cool, no problem. We'll go ahead and handle that. The number one tip, which has like literally changed my life, is my team is very much like me, like they're big networkers. So they have actually gone and networked with other people, other virtual assistants in this business, and they get tips from them and they share these ideas and they're in mastermind groups of their very own. And that has like taken us up to the next level. Like they're on top of regulation changes. They're on top of like, hey, we can't do this way anymore. We got to change this system around. We got to do this around. Here's how we can improve our listings. And guys, all of this can happen for you. You just have to make sure your vetting process is correct and you got to let time do its thing. They update all of our listings. We have lots of listings for over the 50 properties that we manage, a couple that I own, plus we have hotels that we manage. So we have a lot of things that are going on. They do all of our onboarding. And again, I am going to share my tech stack with you because again, this is how we make ourselves a lot more efficient. So my first tech stack for my management company for my short-term rentals is Open Phone. All of them use it. I have it downloaded on my phone. They answer calls, text messages. Everybody's kind of on it so we can all see and share. We use Google Drive to store all of our videos, our SOPs, and then we use Monday.com as our project management software. Guys, all of these things do cost a little bit of money every month. I'm generally not sure how much because it's such a negligible amount for me for the amount of work that we're able to produce because of this tech stack. We use LastPass. That's where all of our password sharing is. And then we use Chanty. I do have Slack for another company that I'm with. But we use Chanty just because it's cheaper. It's a little bit more efficient. We did start out on WhatsApp just because we didn't need it. And then as our company grew, we realized we needed something a little bit more efficient. What I really like about Chanty is if I bring on a new team member and they use the search bar, they can look through all the previous chats, which you cannot do, unfortunately, on WhatsApp. So Chanty makes it really, really easy. All of my team members are able to go to my Amazon account, their Walmart account, they're able to order stuff for them. And so I will answer the other question I always get with this, which is, how do you trust them with your credit card? Guys, that is literally like the least of my worries, guys. If your credit card gets hacked, you can literally call your company and be like, hey, my credit card got hacked. Can you reverse a charge, cancel it, done. But guys, think about the virtual system. Like these guys are looking for a long-term job solution. They don't want to be screamed at. They want to do a good job. They want to go home and be with their family. They are going to be with you for the long run. Honestly, with the way I am right now. So here's where I started, and I'll tell you how I am right now. So the way I started is I got my virtual assistants a card with like a $200 or $300 balance. You could get these virtual cards literally like anywhere. And that's what I gave them. And so they could run charges, but it could never go over like 200. And then once I trusted them, then I started slowly increasing the amount and now they have access my credit. But again, like the trust got built over time and there is a limit. And then my accountant is, back and forth with me. Hey, did you approve this charge? Blah, blah, blah. So you have to like build in systems to make sure that the system works for them. What happens if they fall asleep? And guys, like this will happen when we're working overnight shifts. So there's two things I like to do. I like to have two people kind of on shift. Again, as part of growing our portfolio, is being able to have that so they can kind of hold each other accountable if someone does fall asleep. The other thing I've heard, which I have personally not done yet, is you can hire virtual assistants in Latin America and Africa. Of course, India. So the issue with like India and Philippines, not an issue, but like their time zones are very different than the United States, which is where I'm at. But if you're higher in Latin America, they have very similar time zones to us. So that is two ways you can kind of combat that. I have not had that issue. I have had the falling asleep issue, and we've just dealt with it. There hasn't been anything that urgent. And the first time I kind of let my VAs handle all of my guest for my short-term rentals, I actually had it on my phone, so I would see like the guest message, and then I would see them respond. And if they didn't respond within 5 to 10 minutes, I would message them. And if I on WhatsApp, and if I didn't hear back on WhatsApp, then I would call them. And then if they fell asleep, then I would just go ahead and respond. And again, it's part of building the trust and building the team to get to that caliber. Like they're not gonna get there overnight, so you've kind of got to walk them through. Here's the other thing that people get wrong. Okay, they're like walking this one VA through, they spend all this time, all this effort, and then for whatever reason, maybe it's you, maybe it's them, it's probably you, just to be honest over here, your VA ends up leaving. And now you spent all this time and nothing is documented. So the very first thing I did is every time I jumped on a call, like if I did a Zoom call, if I did a Loom, is I recorded everything that I was doing back and forth with them. And by the way, Loom is also on my tech stack. But I recorded every single thing I was doing with them. And so when I did that, if somebody left and somebody new came on, I would be like, here's day 1 through 30. Like, watch every single video and let me know if you have any questions. Okay, maybe it's not like 30 days. Maybe it's like 5 days of stuff. And if you have any questions, like, let me know. And then what I would tell them is once you watch the video, I want to see a summary of like, what did you learn? Do you know where this password is? Do you know where this is? Do you know X, Y, Z? And they would come back and go like, yeah, I know this. And I would be like, tell me something funny I said in that video or something like that, just to make sure they actually watched it. And they would go, yeah, like I watched it. And I'm like, okay. So again, like reducing my time in training the same person over and over again. So now anytime we onboard a new team member, we just have them watch these videos, and we have reshot the videos as our businesses have grown, as our, our tech stack has changed. We went from WhatsApp to Chanty, that kind of stuff. We've redone the videos. A lot of these guys want to stay with you for a really long time. If you talk to people who had virtual assistants, they'll tell you, I've had mine for 10 years, my 15 years. Like this is their full-time job, and they're not usually looking to leave or change careers. So you want to make sure you are a really good employer. We regularly bonus all of our team members because they do such an incredible job for us. And when things, maybe they make a mistake, like we're all humans, it happens, including me. Shocking, I know. When a mistake happens, we just sit there and we walk them through it, and we go, here, like, let's prevent this from not happening again. How can we help? What do we need to do? And they're usually very, very receptive to the feedback, and they make sure it doesn't happen again. And as always, documented SOP. And by the way, if you guys don't know what SOP is, it just means standard operating procedure. That is what I excel in. So if you have a short-term rental management company, if you have Airbnb and you're struggling, like you're great at sales, but you're maybe struggling a little bit with operations, send me a DM on Twitter, drop me a comment below, or sign up for my newsletter. I read all of the responses I get back. I'll be happy to walk you through how I did it and how I can maybe help you implement it, because it will 100% change your life and put more money in your pockets and have you spend less time. All right, guys, if you have made it till the end of this video and you haven't hit the subscribe button, let's go. Hit that subscribe button so I can keep making some awesome videos for you guys. And if you guys have any questions about how to hire your first virtual assistant, how to hire your 10th one, any best practices or any other tips you want me to share with you, or if you have any things I could do to improve, drop me a comment below, and be sure to watch my podcast. I have a Chai and Cabin podcast where I interview so many people from the real estate and the short-term rental world. Enjoy.